Okay, so the question is for you to introduce yourself and to tell what your name, same thing, and what your role is in the film.
My name is Maddie Went. My name is Maddie Went, and I was the third date, Alex, aka it's that good-looking guy on the audition. So I was happy with that. So.
My name is Douglas Ray Sexton III. That is Douglas Ray Sexton III. And my character was Luke. I was a first date on a picnic date, the kind of blindsided one who didn't know one-on-one courtesies. And yeah, so that was my character.
Hi, I'm Victoria Martinez. I played Eileen.
I'm Rachel Clack. I was mom, or as the script said, toxic mom whose daughter can't do anything right. But I think dad's toxicity, did I say that right? Overshadows mine. He actually scared me in the audition.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alfred Gonzalez, and I played the loving father.
The question is, how was your experience during the audition process, and then did you get the role that you initially wanted?
The experience was awesome. I've done other things before, and at first I remember, because with auditions you never know. So I remember pulling up, and I'm going, this is an apartment. It was at their place, the audition's being held. And I just remember saying, "Hey mom, I'm at this audition. Just here's where I'm at." I went up, I got in, and I went, "Oh, like this is very professional. Everything was so well done. Talia, they all did an amazing job. They had the scripts ready to go if we needed some. They had snacks available. Though I didn't really take one, I just went, that's professional." And I originally auditioned for Devin, and then they asked me to audition for Alex. And I am happy with Alex because, was it Jaime that played Devin? Jaime did such an amazing job, so I was excited to see it.
So it's funny, I had pretty much the same experience as Maddie did showing up to the apartment. Only difference is my mom had my location, so she knew where I was. But yeah, so showing up, I was like, this is an apartment. I literally was in the parking lot like this. Like, oh, and I was like, you know what, I'm already here. I drove 30 minutes, I might as well walk in, right? So I walked in, same experience, it was very professional. I was like, I remember opening you could open the door, and he's like, follow me, this huge staircase. I was like, this is where I die. And then, yeah, so it was fun. I originally did audition for Luke. I actually remember auditioning or sending in the application like 3 months beforehand, and I got a call back, and I was like, what was this for again? I looked back and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I definitely got what I played, and I met them. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed meeting the casting, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, so.
I remember the day of the audition I was so excited. Like I remember, and it was a long drive for me, and I remember like the whole drive there being like, this is super fun. Like this is gonna be a really fun day. I was really excited going over the lines, and I mean, similar experience. Going in, I felt like Talia and Tyra and Joe were all just really kind and very welcoming and super understanding if I wanted to like take a little time to read before or like go over it again, and they were just really kind throughout the whole process. So it was like a really fun day. I just remember that feeling of like no stress attached to it, no worries. I was hoping I would get the part that I did, and so it was like, but I remember walking away thinking that was just fun how it was anyways, so that was a really good day. And yeah, I'm so glad that I got to be a part of this. This was like the most fun little project, I think, ever. So it was a really good time.
Great.
Well, I think we all had similar experiences pulling up to the apartment. I called my husband, I said, so I'm here. This is
where I am, and if you don't hear from me in a few minutes, yeah, the staircase was intimidating to you. Open the door and it's like, follow me. I'm like, oh, okay. But no, but to echo everything they said, as soon as you got to the top of the stairs, everything was professional. I shared earlier that for me, I've done a lot of, I've been on stage, I've done things on camera, but this was my actual very first scripted role. And I walked into the audition feeling very intimidated, but I was like, I can do this. I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And then I stood beside others in the callback, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm out of my element here and not ready for this. I thought I bombed the first audition, was shocked when I got a call back. Called my girlfriend, I said, yep, I bombed my call back. There's no way this is gonna happen. And then I got the opportunity to be cast as mom. So I was very happy to have this opportunity, and it was a great experience for me. And so if I had to push myself out of my comfort zone and do something that really challenged me, this was one of the best environments to do it in terms of being vulnerable in front of other people and being in an environment where you could be vulnerable, do that, and be successful and feel supported and comfortable. So I really appreciate everyone up here for this opportunity.
I went in for the audition for Dad, and it came about pretty natural for me. But just like everyone else, the Griffin family, they were very welcoming, very hospitable. Joseph let us up, Tyler took us in. Again, just straightforward, very easy, very calm, and we just want to thank you for that, because you made the process for us very simple, which allowed us to be comfortable in portraying these characters and auditioning for it. So simple as that, yeah.
So our first question is going to be for Victoria. And Victoria, what is your favorite memory on set?
I think the day that we filmed being in Devin's room, which was at Kate's house, that was the bedroom with the really cool purple lights and all the posters. That was just such a fun day. It wasn't even, I would have thought I would pick like a different one, but now that I'm thinking back, I think also like everyone was like really tired, so we were all kind of loopy by the end. It was really fun. I mean, I was wearing like sweatpants all day, because I was like in Devin's clothes, and we were like sitting on a bed, and it was just like a really fun day. I feel like that was kind of later towards the end of filming, so I got to know the Griffin family pretty well by then, and Kate and Jaime, and so it was just like, it felt like friends hanging out and putting together a project at the same time. I thought it was also a really fun emotional chunk of story that was like just part of like a scene I remember reading, thinking that was like a really good like turning point in the story, and I was really excited to do it, and that part of kind of like the twist in the story. So I think that was just a really fun day. It was a cool environment. It was cool to like kind of be near the end of shooting and see things start to kind of piece together. So yeah.
Okay. Next, the question's gonna be for Maddie. Your question is, what were your expectations for the film? And were they different than what you actually saw?
Yeah, so my expectations for the film was that it was going to be great, especially at the what's it called, the round table. Is that what it's called? Table read, yes. The round table. The table read. With the table read, again, it showed their professionalism and how serious they were taking all of this. You taught her very well. Again, the whole Griffin family was playing a big part in it. I don't know, it was just really cool because it's a little off topic, but I just saw you go from like that and your dad kind of helping you here and there with some things to by the end of the film, you're like, do this, do that, do this. And by that last shoot day, which was the very last scene with the group hug, just when I saw her transformation there, I just knew it was going to be good. So.
Okay, this question is for Douglas. How does your role in this film compare to other roles you've done previously?
That's a good question. I think it was fun to study out how not to do a date and learn from that. Because I think that other roles that I've had, it definitely was fun to be in a park with a bunch of people and to be on a date with her and say like, okay, like leaving to go babysit your sister, like why would I even say that to her in the first place? But I think it was cool to really dive into that character. Like I've played other characters before, and I think with every character that I've played, it's definitely, you learn something new. You never play the same character ever. Like once you play that one character, you're done. You never touch that character again, unless it's a sequel or film series, whatever. But besides that, yeah. Besides that, I really did enjoy it. I think I never played a character like that was different, but I did enjoy it, so.
The next question is going to be for Alfred. Your question is, if you could go back, is there any part of your performance you would change?
Absolutely no.
Actually, I felt pretty comfortable. I hate to say the word, I felt comfortable portraying that character, but it just came across naturally. But I think I felt pretty good with that. It seemed to the father seemed to show his behavior, his demeanor towards the daughter and the family. So I believe everyone got the just an idea of what was going on there, to see how his daughter behaves just like him with her date. So I actually just want to give credit to the dialogue of that and writing the story. So it actually made it very simple for me just to do that. But yeah, I think everything came out great.
Okay, this question is for Rachel. In what way has being a part of this film helped your skills or personal views of acting?
Yeah, great question, because as I said, I've had opportunities. So my back, I've done pageants, I've done modeling, I've done food demo videos for a guacamole company. I've done some more reality show type things where I could just be me, and there were things that I just kind of naturally fell into. This stretched me, and it gave me an appreciation for the art and the skill of acting, because this wasn't something that I could just walk in and just do and just be Rachel. I had to be the toxic mom. And so it was fun, but there were times where at the table read, I'm not gonna lie, full transparency, at the table read, I was sitting there going, I feel like a little kid in a room full of adult professionals. And being the oldest one in the room, I felt like the youngest and least prepared. And so I will say that I think sitting with them, everyone on this panel, and the whole family, Talia, the whole family gave me a great appreciation for acting, because it pushed me outside my comfort zone. I tell my kids all the time, I would love to play a role like the principal on Abbott Elementary. And my kids told me, you could never play that role because that's so not you. They said, you're more like Barbara because she's old and she loves Jesus. And so this gave me an opportunity, and my daughter's sitting here laughing at me. But this gave me an opportunity to kind of tap into being kind of that mean person and being a little bit outside of myself. So I definitely have a great appreciation for it, and it has pushed me to want to work harder and put a lot more effort and energy into being a student of the craft and going after more opportunities in acting.
So our next question is for Douglas. It's gonna be, what was your least favorite part of the filming process?
Least favorite?
Yes.
Sitting on a picnic in wet grass for 5 hours straight. That was my least favorite part. And if you were paying attention, when you saw the video, you saw the wet mark on my butt. I don't know if you saw that. But I think with any set that you've been on, it's like that. You gotta sit in one spot for hours and hours and hours, and like I knew that was gonna happen. So it's just a give and take. I was prepared for that, but yeah, like sitting like this for like 5 hours straight, I was just okay, like finish the take already, come on. But yeah, so I was like when I was able to sit up finally, I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so I think that was fair to say what my least favorite part of it was.
Okay, this question is for Victoria. If you could pick one of your co-stars to work with again, who would you pick?
All of them. All of them. This was such a fun time. It's interesting because I got to work with everybody but in different pieces of time, you know? I was with Hyman, Devin for just some scenes, and that was mostly just me and him. And then parent moments were kind of just family moments, and then I got to be with each boy individually until the final scene. But I feel like, I don't know, everybody was so unique and brought like a different great energy. With everybody that I worked with, it was just a different good time all the time. I don't know, I want to work with Talia again, just in general. So I think everybody just was really fun in their own way. I got to make some friends and learn about new people. So yeah, everyone either we kept each other entertained, or like we kept each other calm, or we just told each other stories. So truthfully, everybody, and Talia.
Okay, the next question is gonna be for Alfred. Was there a scene or fellow actor's performance that you felt really stood out in the film?
Other than yourself.
Yeah. Other than yourself.
You know what? I was going to ask this question. Maddie, where'd you get that dinner jacket? That one stood out.
Dillard's.
Yeah, he played that part very well. I actually enjoyed it. That was a good little comic relief, and that one actually sticks out to me quite a bit. I think you did. It was short, but I mean, you just did it straight to the point where we knew where this was going. Like, okay, this guy's he's cheesing it, he's adding it, he's doing it very well. Did I get ditched? The face was great, so good job on that.
Okay, this question is for Rachel. What was your reason for choosing to be a part of this specific production?
I definitely had a moment. I've been kind of throwing my name in the hat for a couple different opportunities, and when I got the message for this one, it really was about me just stretching myself. And when I saw that, when I read through the different opportunities, the different roles, in my opinion, unless I was an extra, the only character that really was a fit for me was Mom. And when I saw Toxic Mom, I was like, yes, this is gonna be so much fun. And so that had a lot to do with it as well. And then in the auditions, when I walked in and I saw, gosh, these are kids, what is going on? I was super impressed, and so a lot of me saying yes when I got the call to be cast was because I really was, I mean, I guess maybe the mom in me was just really excited to see these young people putting in this work, and I was just impressed with you all and the rest of your team, and it made me want to have that, like, I know I'm not your mom, but just that proud mom moment of watching these young people do something really amazing and watching it all come together. So that had a lot to do with me, that and then trying to be me for a change.
Okay, the last question is going to be for Maddie, and it's how was your on-set experience?
Fantastic. For the restaurant scene specifically, it was very hot in that cool jacket. And we only had one shot to get they said maybe two, but they said if we can, try to get it in one shot to knock the table just right, and I think we did a good job. So that was one take, which was nice. But on set, it was fun. Again, the environment, very professional, but also a part of it in between takes. So if you don't know, like one scene could take hours. so in between filming, you know, you're just there with your coworkers at that point, and you know, you're just chit-chatting and all that, and with these guys here, you know, it was really easy to pass the time in between takes. So they made it enjoyable and fun. So.
Okay, so that was it for the panel for you guys. We're just gonna move on to asking Talia some questions as the director, but did you guys have any questions y'all wanted to ask her personally? Y'all can do that now.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on?
Yes, I do. I'm not gonna say any of them because they're not done, but yeah, I definitely do. I think my next project that I want to do is a feature. So if you guys want to come be in that, come along. Yeah.
You just graduated high school, so what are your plans now?
Make films. So actually, I do have something. I may or may not go to like a trade school or something afterwards. I don't want to go to like 4-year college. Don't need to, I don't think. But I do have. I am gonna start teaching some video editing over the summer and for as long as I need to do that. So if anybody wants to learn video editing, come with me.
So what is the biggest takeaway that you learned as a director? Because this is your first one, you said, right? So you had to learn a lot.
Be prepared. I don't know about like your guys' point of view, but like even before we started the auditions, I wasn't done with the script like until maybe like right before we casted. You guys obviously you didn't know that, but yeah, for a long time I didn't even have like the full script done, and I think like last minute I changed like the whole ending scene, right? And so you know, things with like the locations, and the locations was a big thing. I couldn't find like a place for Eileen's like new house at the end for a long time. But that was just like, you know, the most of the part was just like being prepared for everything. And obviously since I did it kind of like on a whim, that was the real reason for not being prepared, but it was a struggle. So, yeah. Anyone else?
Now that you're done, if you could, what is that one scene or that one prop or that one thing that just gets under your skin and wakes you up at night and you say, I wish I could go back and do that one little nitpicky thing over again?
Oh my God.
Beside the wet mark on his pants.
I think there's like a couple of different things. If I had to pick one. I think, well, there's a lot of things. I think I'll pick like the most obvious one that anyone can see. During the scene after the second part of the like parents yelling at Eileen when she's sitting on the curb. I don't know if you saw it or not. If you're not paying attention, you wouldn't see it. But there's like a huge long green cord in the background, like right next to Eileen, and like I can only do my editing skills only go to a certain point, and so like I tried my best to like cover it up. Editing is the biggest thing, but I think like in that first like wide shot when she's like walking across the parking lot, you can't see it there. I covered it up really well there, but then afterwards, I couldn't. I just left it. I was like, I'm done.
So I didn't see it, so
Okay.
now I'm gonna go back and watch.
Yeah, you can go. If you watch it multiple times, you'll see all the mistakes. It is coming out tomorrow. I think so.
Out of pre-production, production, and post, since you did all that, what was your favorite part and
My
why?
favorite part is definitely production, because that's the easiest part. Pre-production, I hate pre-production only because I hate dealing like all the documents and all that kind of stuff. But technically, I should have someone else do that for me. So in the future, I won't have to worry about it. And then editing, I had like multiple crises then because my computer, I edited the whole thing from my laptop. And it's a good laptop, but I think at some point, like after I started editing a certain amount of the film, like it started freezing up and like it kept crashing. Like there was a point where I literally couldn't even like move the mouse without it crashing. And so it crashed multiple times. And then I think recently, right before I was like almost done with the film, I think I like closed my laptop for the night. And then the next morning I opened it up and it crashed on me again, but like when it was when I was doing the flashbacks. When I opened it back up, I opened up the project and literally the whole project was gone. And like the only thing that was there was like a part of the flashbacks, and I was like, what just happened? Because like I didn't do anything for it to like get rid of everything, and so the only reason that I still have the project right now is because I had multiple saved versions of it, and so I literally had to like go back and find like the old versions of the project to bring the rest of it back like together. And so I don't know what I was gonna do. If I lost the whole thing, I was definitely not gonna edit it again. I'm gonna hire someone to do that because I was not about to go through it again. So definitely production is my favorite part. Also working with you guys during the whole thing. I love working with people. I don't know if I'm necessarily a people person. I'm like super bad at like public speaking, but I do like working with everyone. So even if I'm not talking to y'all, I like y'all being around. So.
I have a question from your behind the scenes concepts. Because seeing your shot list too on like filming days, what's a scene that you remember conceiving the angles in the shot and like how it was gonna go and are really proud of how that like came out from start to finish?
I think the scene that probably like matched my like shot list and everything exactly how I like thought it would go is probably the restaurant scene and the park scene. The park scene was definitely like the easiest one, and the restaurant. I really like how the restaurant scene turned out, and I really loved like the one take that we did at the end. And in terms of the shot list, actually we're not going to talk about the shot list. So yeah, I definitely like the restaurant scene was the one I think that came out the best to me.
So one question is, were there any cast members that exceeded your expectations or that were different from what you expected?
Okay. So I guess it's my turn to talk about the audition process. So obviously, during the audition process, it's my first audition, for anything, and it was actually really fun doing the auditions and going through all the different actors. We actually had a total of I think 151 actors submit applications, not necessarily for lead roles, but like extras and things too. But I just thought like, wow, I'm definitely gonna have to do auditions for this because there's no way I would like get through all those people. But obviously, since there wasn't like too many, as like the submissions came in, I literally like went through every single one of them and like looked at y'all's profiles and things like that, because I'm like thinking, okay, who can I see as like my lead characters and things like that. And so I, had like my own kind of perception of y'all beforehand, obviously, can't help that. But then during the audition process, when you guys came in, I don't know if I I don't think I really like gave much reaction like to y'all, right? Because I'm kind of in my own world anyway during the auditions, but like I'm taking my first impressions first, right? And we had some people come in where like as soon as they came in, me and my mom and Kay were like, I don't know about this person. Just based off their first impression, I think one lady, she was just having a bad day. Felt bad for her, but definitely take that into account sometimes, those first impressions. I think all of you guys gave good first impressions. I think I was a little iffy about Douglas for some reason. but I had seen his videos beforehand, and so I had high expectations for him, that's for sure. But I think the person who exceeded my expectations the most was Victoria, because I didn't have any impression of her beforehand. So when she came, she was so nice. I love her. I love Victoria's energy all the time. She always during on set, she's always making me laugh and stuff, which I love. And when she came and she did her part, it was right away, I knew she was gonna be Eileen, so she did really good. Also with Dad too, he's I didn't have to think about that one, but and then all of you guys did really well during the auditions. Obviously, that's why you're here now. But what was the question?
It was just, were there any cast members that exceeded your expectations, and then was there anyone that was different than expected? I think you answered it.
Oh, let me talk about Jaime, even though he's not here. Jaime is I used to think I was introverted, but he is a true introvert. I know all y'all don't work with him, but when he first came in, I could tell he was really quiet. He talks really softly, and he told us too. He said, what did he say? He said he told us, he was like, oh, I'm pretty introverted, but when it's time to act, I can act. And he showed us, Actually, his audition, I think he was one of the few people that auditioned for the role of Alex at first, and that was the only one that he auditioned for too. But he did it so well that I thought he was going to get that part, but I don't remember what exactly made me think this, but then I was like, you know what? You should audition for Devin too. And so I had him do that part, and I think he was the only one who got the closest to my vision of Devin's character, and so he did really well on that. Oh,
I have a question. Are you planning on submitting the video to some short
competitions?
films? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple lined up that I'm gonna submit it to, and we'll see how it does.
Sounds like a team effort, family, brother and sister. What is she doing to show her gratitude to you?
I'll just say, for all of y'all, depending on how well the film does, I'm gonna try to pay y'all back in some way. I'm not talking about just money, okay? Yeah. But I do appreciate all y'all's help. Definitely can't do it without y'all.
Can I just give a shout out to Mom? Because there was one day on set, and I was starving. And you could smell food cooking in the kitchen. And the whole time I was like, is she cooking for her family, or are we gonna get some? And I was struggling to focus. And then when she was like, let's take a break and eat, I was like, thank you, Jesus. So thank you for dinner. The one night that we had dinner, the food was absolutely delicious. So thank you. That was my hardest day on set, because it was pasta and yeah, It didn't matter, it was good. So yeah, trying to act when you're hungry and you can smell food cooking, that takes skill.
I do want to say, I think my mom probably did the most on this film. Well, really for like anything I do. I think even during the first day of filming, during the auditions, I think especially during like the Ferris wheel scene and the park scene, my mom definitely she coordinated like all the extras for me pretty much, because like since I didn't have like a big crew, my crew was literally me and Cade and sometimes Taha, because he was a BTS guy, but he was like my boom mic person and stuff, and then my siblings, but that was like literally my crew. That was literally it. And so like obviously I was like the director, I had like a whole lot of things to think about, and I can only think about one thing at a time. And so like when we had like the extras come up, I think the only thing I could like think about was like, okay, I can tell you who's who, and after that I don't know what to do with them. Because I didn't like think of like what to do with the extras like beforehand. And so coordinating them, my mom helped with that a lot. And my mom was a talker for me. So anything like she says, that's basically me talking. So like with like the extras and some of you guys, like she's going around talking to everybody, collecting information. I think like one of my extras, they were all the way from California. They came for this film. And I didn't know that, so she got all that information for me. And so lots of appreciation to my mom.
Were you happy? You mentioned that towards the end you were still developing the script. It wasn't really full, but the main parts came from your friend's story.
Yes.
Were you happy with the character development of the best friend? I mean, we see the main character everywhere, and we see a few more of the best friend, but I mean, it took me like a switch. It's like I didn't see like a love interest at all for him to go say what he said. Were you happy with the character development, or did you feel you could wanted to put more into his character, interacting in a different way with the main character?
So the reason why that Devin's character wasn't like portrayed as like love interest was because I knew that like if I were to try to write him in as that, it would take away from the actual like message of the story. And so and like I said, like I was really trying to keep it towards like what my friend's like original story was. And so that's the reason why. Of course, I know, in that last line, he's like, the friend that's like, love you without any expectation. The idea there was just that, like, he's the friend, and she's kind of like, she like, Eileen doesn't really, like, see that, like, first of all, like, her expectations for people are, like, too high, but also that, like, the person right in front of her is, like, there for her, and, things like that. And so I just didn't want it to become, I don't know if it's really like a romance story. It's not a romance story. And so it's about Eileen and her parents. And so that's why I didn't really put that in there for like Devin's character. And so I think Devin as he is now is pretty good in terms of what the message of the story is about.
The second part of the question, since your first project, I know you already have something in mind coming up. But the first one was based on a real life story. Is it your line of filmmaking that you want to do life stories brought to film?
So it's not really like the exact story of my friend. It was just more like something based off of like her experience. It's not like any like specific moment or anything, but obviously there was like times where she would tell me about certain things like with her parents and things, and so it was just kind of like based off of that, not really like a true story or anything. Now I will say in terms of like future films, I would take some true stories and I make them into film. I don't know exactly how I would go about that, but I think that's definitely something I would do. I think this is generally the type of films that I'm going for. Either, like romantic comedies or, dramas, things like that, maybe some action in there. So, yeah.
Did you feel like you drained all of your thought process in this, where there will be no more possibility of a part 2?
There's not going to be a part 2. Why don't we get a part? I don't think we would get a part 2. Oh, but not necessarily a part 2, but the next film that I'm writing right now is I want to say it's a similar concept. It's not exactly the same concept because it doesn't have anything to do with parents or anything yet, not right now at least. But the script that I'm writing right now is this story, but my take on it. So like I said, this film is my friend's take on the story, but the next one is is more related to me. I told one of my friends, she's not here, but I let her read the little part of the script, and I told her, I was I think this character feels like me, the main character. She feels like me, and so or at least maybe the person I'd want to be or something like that. And so the next one is this story, but me, my version.
And can you also clear up that you did not write that father's character after your time? That is not, make sure they know that.
No, my relationship with my parents is good. Don't worry.
And so when we leave here today, and we want to go and watch it again, where do we watch it?
It'll be on YouTube. Yes, on my channel, Pluma Studio Films. Yes.
Can I say something? I want to say something real quick. Because a lot of times I have students, a lot of my students, they want to do stuff like Marvel and Superman or superpowers and things like that, right? The thing with Talia is her films, they do stuff, it's very relatable. That you can put yourself in the situation, and it helps you get into that character and get into that thing. And so that's what we try to teach you, get in and get something that's really relatable, and you did an excellent job with that. And I can see your thinking process going, that you're gonna do the same thing with the next one as well, especially with your first ones. That helps. So good job with that.
I did have one more question. Do you think you will finalize on a certain genre or topic? There's some writers who only write horror movies, or some only write. So do you see yourself maybe stabilizing yourself and doing one particular, because I think something you may look at, I know you don't have much experience now, but kind of look at maybe what do your audience need? We got plenty horror movies out there. We're in a new generation now, and maybe entertainment is going to always be a big thing, but how can we take this entertainment and teach valuable lessons to our children or our families? So that may be something to think about as well.
Well, I can say that I'm definitely never writing a horror movie. I don't even watch horror.
She's afraid of flies, so.
No. I think when I first got into film, it was really out of nowhere. It was like a one-day jump down the hole kind of thing. But I think so. My whole thing in terms of when I write scripts and things like that is I don't want it to be like everyone else's out there. Obviously, we have all these films are really just for entertainment. I don't think people put a whole lot of thought into the actual story of their films these days. I've seen some bad films, but for me, I think for my films, I want them to be meaningful, even if they're comedic or those action and things like that. They need to be meaningful. I feel I wouldn't like it if it wasn't meaningful at all. or there wasn't like, you know, like a story behind everything. And so even if the films are not necessarily my story, like I want them, obviously, I want them to be relatable, you know, and I think I can't really do much other than like realistic stuff. My imagination doesn't go that far. I don't think I can do like fantasy and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think just everything needs to have some meaning.
Let's see.